Hello again. In this video, I'll be covering the food and drinks on board the Carnival Panorama. There's literally a lot of it, so without further ado, let's dig in. The main buffet-style cafeteria on Carnival Panorama was the Lido marketplace, which typically prepared meals by themes. Every lunch and dinner, they also feature a roast, which could be beef, ham, or veal. So if like Chip, you were trying to stay on a strict carnivore diet, technically, you should be able to do that without having to pay for a steak in your chargeable restaurants. Though it can be a hit and miss when you ask for the part that's medium rare. Here's some of what we ate from the Lido marketplace. Most of the food was decent, sometimes not great. How is that?
Okay, good.
Oh. But sometimes surprisingly good. In between meals, if you felt like something sweet and free, you could help yourself to soft serves and frozen yogurts. Once in a while, we even indulge in some decadent dessert right in our cabin and quickly hid away traces of our guilty pleasures outside the door like nothing ever happened. On the last sea day, the marketplace had a chocolate extravaganza. Personally, I feel that amongst all their desserts, their chocolate ones were the best.
Oh my god, if your mom was here,
She likes it too.
oh my gosh.
There were two other stations, usually open as part of the Lido marketplace. The first was the Omelette station for breakfast. Our usual requests were my vegetable omelette and chips 5 eggs, not over easy, but over medium, a new term I learned. It's fun to watch the staff skillfully flip all 5 eggs in one go. Occasionally, if I was feeling naughty, I would ask for either a sunny side up or an over easy so that I could do this with my congee.
Yes. So nice. Yeah.
Or make my own Malaysian-inspired roti bakar to dip with. Except that I use guava jelly in place of kaya. The second station was the Deli station for early lunch into late supper. We have had their ham and cheese and Reuben sandwich once, and they were surprisingly good. We were only just missing the tomato soup. The steak and cheese roll was also great. The Vista restaurant was the ship's main dining room. The major difference with the marketplace is that you were required to check in on the app, and it is a sit-down affair in which you place your order with your server and they bring it to you. The check-in process works on a first-come, first-served basis. I've tried this out one time for breakfast when Chip didn't feel like having any. The app worked perfectly, including telling me what the wait time was and notifying me when my table was ready. If you had time to spare, the sit-down style beats having to fight other guests at the buffet for the last mangled Baja fish. Look how beautifully presented the dishes are. The only downside was that the tables at the Vista restaurant were placed too closely with other tables, so it was impossible not to eavesdrop on someone else's conversation. That said, the Carnival Hub app does allow you to book a meal slot at the Vista restaurant for a bigger group of your favorite people. Menu-wise, other than breakfast, which was standard and never changed, the offerings for lunch and dinner were pretty impressive, providing variety between different cuisines while cycling between themes. And here's the part where I'm still actively questioning myself. Why did I not try to persuade Chip to have our meals at the Vista restaurant? Sometime into the cruise, I noticed that the Lido marketplace is usually about 80% of the menu for what was being served in the Vista restaurant. Blue Iguana is a casual taco and burrito bar offering chicken, beef and shrimp and many of the usual Mexican toppings. A number of standard hot sauces were provided for your consumption. This was the first meal we had on the ship after successfully claiming a table on Deck 10 during embarkation day. I actually was pretty impressed with the shrimp, which was always fresh, never overcooked, and had this several times myself, always with the same toppings. They were also open for breakfast, offering huevos rancheros, which was really just scrambled eggs with tomatoes and bell peppers. Guy's Burger Joint is another favorite, especially for Chip.
How you doing, guys? Getty here. I'm not on the ship today making up your burger, but I am making burgers at home, and this is just how we do it on the ship.
The patties are, in Guy Fieri's words, 80-20 chuck meat for that good balance of beefy flavor. A topping and condiment bar sits to the side for you to help yourself with. After the initial honeymoon period, Chip eventually ditched the bun and went back to his no-carb diet. Pizzeria del Capitano must be everyone's guilty little secret, except that it's not really a secret. It's the only food joint that opens from 9 a.m. all the way until 4 a.m. in the morning, and they usually always have a queue. Understandably so, their pizzas are really good. We usually went for the pepperoni and mushroom pizzas. The one time we did try their Korean barbecue, which was chargeable, but not as fantastic as their standard offering. Considering that the elevators nearest our cabin were also the elevators for the pizzeria, I think you can guess how often I did pizza delivery to our room. Guy's Pig and Angus Smokehouse turned out to be surprisingly good. We were there the first night and ordered an appetizer of smoked sausage and cheese, which turned out to be ooey-gooey in a good way. We also ordered the prime time prime rib and the championship pulled pork, both of which were great. I must say though that personally, I really love this subtle tasting charred young corn. Had we known that the mains were huge in portion size, we would have skipped the appetizer. My only regret is I never usually have enough space left over to try their tasty looking desserts. A cool fact of this restaurant is that they make their own IPA beers right here on site. Every Seaday, Guys even offers a free lunch buffet. Our favorites were the blue ribbon chicken, smoked brisket, and the strong-tasting collard greens. From time to time, I would indulge in a little mac and cheese, of which its charm laid in its simplicity. But because the free buffet was on the deck right outside the restaurant, I sometimes wonder if there were guests who cruised through the entire trip without realizing that there was really good free food out here. Two other free lunch options during Seadays were the Mongolian Wok and the Pasta Bella Pasta Bar, which operated from Jiji Asian Kitchen and Cucina del Capitano respectively. Unfortunately, we've never tried getting into that, as there always is a long queue right at the entrance about an hour before their start time. So everyone was waiting here before 12 noon, all the Asians. You can always reserve a spot for dinner, which is chargeable of course. The only food booth we were disappointed with was the Seafood Shack. We tried the fried seafood platter for $20 and were not impressed with the quality. We were also told that they were out of calamari until after they've charged our card and served up our food. Would we have fared better with their fresh seafood? Maybe, but we're not in a hurry to try. There were another 3 places we've had opportunity to try on the Seadays just before we arrived at Japan. And also because by then, we were trying to change up the monotony. It's the Japanese-themed Bonsai Teppanyaki and Bonsai Sushi, and the in-house steakhouse Fahrenheit 555. Vance was our cook for the grill at the Bonsai Teppanyaki. He was extremely funny, got the crowd moving, and could also sing very well. So I guess singing is a prerequisite for working at the Bonsai Teppanyaki. While the seasoning was a little salty, the ingredients including the filet mignon and lobster were all very fresh. We had our filet mignon medium rare, and to Chip and myself, that was a familiar tender texture that we've not had for a long time.
I throw my things up in the air, sunshine, singing angel, Galileo.
With Bonsai Sushi, service was a little slow, which was fine. It's been a while since we were at a sit-down place. Of all the items we ordered, the sashimi, salmon and tuna sushi rolls were the best. But I would hold up on ordering ramen noodles until you get to Japan proper.
Cheers so far.
We had mixed feelings about Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse. On my part, everything I ordered for myself was amazing. The lobster bisque was really savory, the dessert, the most decadent chocolate dessert that I've ever had in my life. And I'm not just saying that.
There's like a tart taste that mixes with the chocolate really well.
The only thing we both made a mistake on was ordering the New York strip instead of the cowboy steak or the ribeye center cut. For some reason, we were both not particularly hungry and thought that ordering the leaner New York strip or sirloin would be a better option. Looks-wise, the meat did appear medium rare the way we ordered it, but texture-wise, it was a little tough. Anyway, the total bill being $98, excluding gratuity, I felt that overall it definitely was good value. Just that the next time around, we will be ordering the marbled ribeye instead. Oh, and also, we felt a little rushed by the staff. As soon as we finished one course, the next one was around the corner, so our experience was kinda affected by that. Drinks-wise, there were plenty of options both on Deck 10 and Deck 5. Most people started their day with a coffee, whether at the Java Blue or one of the many drink dispensing stations throughout Lido Deck. The Java Blue also had some pretty tempting donuts and cakes on display every day. Once in a while, Chip might indulge in an oatmeal raisin cookie. Towards the end of the trip, we had thrown any kind of diet plan overboard and one afternoon purchased several oatmeal raisin cookies in one go.
Look at all those cookies!
Java Blue even had a consolation punch card for people like us who bought their coffees without a drinks package. But more on that later. On Deck 10, Blue Iguana also has its own tequila bar. In fact, this was the first location in which we were orientated with prices of liquor on board. Not to mention, the service charge that's added to the bill and an empty line below for you to add a further gratuity if you're feeling ultra generous. I gather that most non-Americans who had included their gratuities upfront with Carnival during their reservation usually choose not to tip any further. At Guy's Smokehouse, Chip's favorite was the Bloody Mary adorned with a salty maple candied bacon. Though about the third Bloody Mary onwards, he asked for them not to give him the candied bacon anymore. And they remembered that for the rest of the trip. My favorite drinks there were the Bourbon Smash and the Blackberry Bourbon Fizz, both of which had the right balance of tart and sweet with my favorite liquor base. At the Havana Bar, another drink introduced to us is the Hotel Nacional, made with Bacardi 8 rum, pineapple juice, lime juice, and apricot liquor. By then, our bartender, knowing that I don't particularly like sweet, adjusted it just enough so that it is now one of my go-tos whenever we are hanging out there. We also found out that we could order Chip's favorite Bloody Mary right here. There are of course other lounges you can get drinks at. One is the Atrium lobby, which featured this really cool LED pillar that changes settings from time to time. The Heroes Bar is catered for veterans and their families, and they sometimes have meetups right here. You can also watch sports games, and there's even a virtual poker table. The piano lounge in the daytime featured a caricature artist. At night, they have a live pianist playing whatever you want him to play. That one time we were dining at the Fahrenheit Steakhouse, I thought I heard him play Pirates of the Caribbean. One of the things you'll need to consider is whether or not to get a drinks package prior to embarkation day. Note that you only have 2 days after boarding to decide that before you end up having to pay as you consume. However, there is a catch. If you're thinking of purchasing the liquor package, which at time of this video costs $70.74 per person per day, both passengers in the cabin must purchase the same package. That gave us a bit of dilemma as to whether or not to purchase them. It wasn't until the middle of the trip that we found out that unlimited coffee, sodas, and bottled water were also included in Carnival's enhanced liquor package, and considering the amount of liquids we drink through the day, perhaps we should have gone ahead and purchased the package anyway. Now this is something for which you have to assess your own drinking habits and do the math on. In our case, when we opted not to get the drinks package, we promised ourselves that we will only get 1 drink per day. Well, we broke that rule on embarkation day itself.
Cheers, Sopa. We're not getting off to a good start.